Hey, what is up, guys? Alex Van Kirk here, and today we are going through the video parts and one tour video of January 2019 in the world of skateboarding. And let's just get right into it. January 1st, Brandon Westgate released a part entitled Bogtown from New Balance Numeric, and it was later revealed that this was actually for a pro shoe that he just dropped. So congratulations, Brandon, on the pro shoe at New Balance. Now, this part, it's pretty standard for Brandon Westgate. His tricks are pretty standard for him, and his the spots he's skating are pretty standard, but he branches out and does pretty much almost everything in the realm of street skating, and it's not better than his part in Peace just earlier in November, but it is a pretty solid part. Some tricks that I think really stood out in it are this ollie that he goes over a bump to bar spot, past a gap and down some stairs. It's all one big ollie, and it's big. A frontside flip up, I don't even know if you could call it a Euro gap. It's just a gigantic step-up spot, and he frontside flips it, and I was blown away by that because it's full speed, it's gnarly, and the tray flip over the rail into a really steep bank. Those tricks stood out to me, especially in his part. The filming is solid. I don't have a complaint about the filming. I feel like the editing, though, is a bit too artsy for a guy like Brandon, who's so gnarly and heavy. I feel like a lot more of the chill, like, VX-style skaters, like the skaters that look like they need to be filmed on VX. It's a certain, like, aesthetic kind of thing. Those guys benefit from those artsy parts, but I don't think that someone as gnarly as Brandon benefits from it, if that makes sense. The music is, I'm not a big fan of grunge, but I think that 90s rock kind of style fits Brandon Westgate pretty well. So the final score this gets is Ripper. The rating system I use is Ripper, Skipper, and then meh, which means it's just not that great. Ripper and Skipper, I think, are pretty straightforward. They rip or avoid them at all costs. January 3rd, we had Seb Walker with the 8 Days part. The skating, classic Seb. He's got a good mix of gnarly, tech, and fun, which I think is the winning combination of Seb Walker, and why I believe he kills it is because he is able to do crazy gnarly tricks, crazy tech tricks, and just really, creative, fun tricks. So altogether, yeah. He does a lot of, three shoves, does a lot of manuals, does a lot of, does a few body varials, does some wall righty stuff, does a few does quite a bit of gnarly stuff in this part, which is surprising, given the context that this was kind of like it looked like a pretty quickly filmed New York video part. So to have, as gnarly as the footage is pretty insane. The filming is pretty bad in some places, I will admit. There are some shaky lines. There's some pretty bad angles. The one that I had a bone to pick with is the angle of the 3-shove lip at Blubba. I don't think that angle shows off how big Blubba really is, and like how, because if this is somebody's first time ever seeing a video part from New York, and, they don't get to see the size of Blubba very well. I think that maybe a fisheye or, like, somebody down at the bottom of the stairs or something, like, that would have been a much better angle. I don't think that the up, behind angle was a very good choice, in my opinion. The editing's artsy, but I feel like it's like a YouTuber vlog kind of artsy. It's just kind of, I think for a video part, even of one of this size, from a skater who is, as famous as Seb Walker is, I think that there needs to be a little bit more, I feel like the part needs to look a lot more professional rather than some YouTuber who took like 5 hours of Premiere Pro tutorials and then was just like, I know how to do this. You know, that's kind of how it looked. The music, unfortunately, even though I found out in the credits that it's by Billy McFeely, who is a skater that I don't know what happened to. He just kind of disappeared. But I honestly feel like if it wasn't in the context of this video part, it'd be unlistenable. And pretty much entirely. The final score, meh. It's not a great part. It's great on Sibo's end, but I think the rest of it bogs it down way too much. And go watch his part in the flare. Honestly, if you want to watch a good Sebo part, watch his part in the flare. That is where I think the recipe of Sebo works the best, is that video part. Then we have on January 7th this past month, Zach Gracie's video checkout. Now, I'd never heard of Zach Gracie before this, so I had no real expectations before it, and I was actually surprised. I was kind of blown away by his skating. He does very simple combos, and he's pretty low to the ground for the most part. But it's just really stylish skating, but he's not trying to over-style it out. He does simple combos that look good, and he's not spazzy. He's a good skater. He does a lot of wall rides. He does a lot of wallies, manuals, and stuff. And he does a lot. He makes it look really good. He skates some wall rails as well. He feebles one of them, and it's, anybody who sticks their hand or leg in the fire, I'm all for when it comes to skateboarding. The filming is solid. It's not shaky like a lot of VX filming tends to be. The camera isn't up Zach's ass, for lack of a better term, because a lot of the times when I see VX filmers, they usually try to get as close as possible, and usually that ends up really ruining the clip, in my opinion. And this is filmed from a decent distance to me. Editing wise, I think there's some poor choices in the editing, like showing some warm-up tricks, kind of, where he'll do like a regular trick, and then they'll show in the part right after it the harder trick. So like, doing a front nose slide on this out ledge, and then going back and doing the front nose slide shove, but they showed both clips. I don't know. To me, that's just not as good. They should have just kind of kept it all really. Otherwise, it's solid. There's also a weird baby crying that turns into the shape of Florida, and that was unnecessary. It's really weird. I don't like that. The music was just basic background style guitar rock that sounded pretty royalty-free music. It's not trying to make or break the part. It's just serving as background noise, and it works. So this one gets the Ripper rating. Zach Gracie's a great skater, and I hope to see more of him in the future. Coming up from there, we have January 10th, where we have Shay Sanderson with a Next New Wave part. Just like Zach Gracie, I had never heard of Shay Sanderson before this video. And I gotta say, this is the only skipper of the month, and let me explain myself before anybody freaks out if they're a fan of Shay from seeing this video. I don't think Shay has any style. A lot of his tricks also look kind of barely landed. He doesn't look very comfortable as a skateboarder. I think that Shay needs to kind of go back, get a bit of a style, get his tricks more consistent, and then, start fresh. Because I don't think he's a bad skater. I think the combos he does in this video part are insane. But unfortunately, he just doesn't really do it for me. He's a good skater. He does hard tricks, but I think he needs to just, learn his tricks a little bit more, get a bit of a style, and then he'll be one of the best skaters on the planet to me. This filming's standard. Nothing offensively bad, nothing shaky. And, you know, the kind of editing with this, it works. It's not really trying to show off any hijinks or slams or you know, personality or anything. It's just straight skateboarding, which I think for, you know, because it's kind of like a sponsor me tape for the world, is what a like a Next New Wave or a video checkout kind of is that kind of, it's the sponsor me tape for the world. So it's just showing off the tricks they can do. Once you get more into, like, you know, third or fourth video part, that's when people start wanting to see more personality and want to see, like, a rough cut to see how everything went. You know, it's all that kind of stuff. The music was really bad mumble rap. Just so repetitive that it sounds like it's trying to hypnotize you into getting addicted to lean, and it's just not great. So this one gets the skipper rating, but I'm not going to be skipping out on Shay Sanderson in the future. Hopefully he gets a little bit more of a style and, you know, just kind of becomes a better skater all around. Because I think if he had good style, he'd be one of the best skaters. Next up is Vinicius Santos with Sigillo SP. This part is, I gave it the meh rating, even though there's some really hard tricks in this video, like a switch inward heel to 5-0 180, this massive frontside flip, a big switch front 3, board slide kickflip to fakie. Hard tricks. But there's a lot of filler. They tried to make this video part 6 minutes long when I think you could have just taken all of the good clips and used the first song, because there's 2 songs in this part. You could have used the first song, crammed all the good clips in there, and it would have been a much better part. There's so much filler, and the guest skaters, unfortunately, and they're doing, the guest clips are harder tricks than what's in the rest of, what's a lot of Vinicius's clips himself. I will also say he starts a ledge combo with a 50-50, which I think is kind of cheap. I think if you're going to be doing a combo like that, at the very least, start with a 5-0. Even I think if he would have done like a switch, like back 5-0 or switch crook, and would have already been switch or something, because he does like a revert out of it, I think that probably would have been better. And then pop shove it down a spot. Luan's done harder tricks down, so it looks kind of lame, unfortunately. The music. 2 really bad mumble rap songs. Just unlistenable, pretty much entirely. The filming, there's a couple of bad angles that I don't really enjoy, but it's mostly solid. The editing is kind of like a shitty rap music video. I'm not too into that. So I give this the meh rating because the editing is awful, and the music is awful. But Vinicius is a pretty good skater, and I think that, you know, if he would have had a better editor and a better, you know, there would have been a better music supervisor on staff, everything would have been fine. January 16th, we get last year's Scramble. Now, some people might be surprised that I'm reviewing this, even though it's something from last year, and I'm not reviewing another certain thing that I will be talking about in a second. And my reasoning is, because that's all recycled clips, these are clips we've never seen before. Just to get that argument out of the way, so I don't have to deal with it. But this year's Scramble had some good skaters in it. Simon Banero, Pedro Delfino, Fabiana Delfino, Henry Gartland, Jaakko Ojanen, Tanner Van Vark, Gabriel Summers, Kater Silla, and Justin Henry. That's a stacked... that's a pretty stacked list of AMs. And one of them is already pro now. Kater Silla just turned pro. Congratulations to Kater. And for a tour video, which is what Scramble really is, this is almost entirely devoid of filler, which is immense. Everybody kills it. Almost every clip is hard tricks. And everybody brings something to the table. Simon does an eggplant, which I didn't expect. I knew he skated some transition. I did not expect an eggplant. That was a really tweaked one, too. Pedro is Pedro Delfino. I mean, he's skating big rails, big hubbas, doing tricks over Catercilla. In fact, Obby Taylor has a little bit of a guest clip in there, and he does a trick over Catercilla. So I think everybody likes launching over Cater. Fabiana is very much trying to prove that not only is she one of the best female skaters out right now, that she's one of the best skaters out here, period. Henry Gartland, I have a little bit of bias towards because he's from Minnesota. That's my home state. He's really good skating huge rails, doing hard combos. He's just destroying it all around. Yako is extremely stylish and does a lot of, crazy spinning tricks, crazy, just gnarly creative tricks. He's good. Tanner Van Vark going the distance, doing a lot of wall rides, doing a lot of big gaps, a lot of spinning. And, again, a little bit more biased. He's from Minnesota. Gabriel Summers is super gnarly in this video. Only has like 2 or 3 clips throughout the whole thing, but he's still, he's still insanely good. And he's been insanely good for a really long time. So when I was like, wait, Gabriel Summers is an AM Scramble? AM Scramble. That means he's still an AM? It's insane. Catercilla is, again, he's Cater. He's one of the gnarliest and one of the smallest people in skateboarding right now, and he's just insane. I mean, I guess when the first clip we've seen of somebody is them doing a 50-50 into a light post and breaking the fucking thing, we should, should expect greatness already. Justin Henry is a really chill skater who doesn't necessarily do the hardest tricks, but he's got a lot of style and he's very chill. And overall, this is a very good video. The filming, no complaints. It's solid, not shaky, no really bad angles or anything. It's solid. Editing, I feel like it's very similar to King of the Road style editing. And, it's Thrasher. I think that it was probably edited by people who work at Thrasher. I don't really read a whole lot of these credits. But, it's probably the guy who does a lot of editing of King of the Road, so it makes sense. Music is pretty bland. I don't think it's trying to make or break the video in a lot of places, except for, the first song. I don't know what the hell Pie on the Highway means. But otherwise, it's not an offensive music choice. It's not bad. So this gets the Ripper rating. First tour video of the year. Solid. Then, January 22nd, we have Ronnie Kessner in a video part called Rudiment. Again, Ronnie Kessner is another skater that I really haven't seen much of before, and therefore didn't have an opinion before watching this, didn't have any standards, no expectations or anything. He's a skater that is gnarly, he's tech, and he's occasionally creative. And creativity for me, when it comes to skateboarding and video parts and all this kind of stuff, is highly important when I see a new skater. If they're creative, if they're doing tricks that a lot of people don't do, if their style is very unique and they use it to their advantage, and his style is unique. I think it's very much like a Levi Brown, Mark Appleyard kind of thing put together. Very chill, bones out some stuff. It's good. He does a lot of awkward rail combos, flip-ins, big spins, long grinds. Yeah, he's really good. Filming, there's a couple of bad angles, but it's mostly solid. Editing is terrible. It's basically, you got epilepsy, fuck you, have fun watching this. It's just, I don't like the flashing. Even for somebody like me who doesn't have epilepsy, it's still just the flashing still hurts my eyes. I don't like it. Music is just kind of some basic instrumental indie rock, nothing offensive. This gets the Ripper rating. I'm a fan of Ronnie. January 22nd. Man, there's a lot of skaters I haven't heard of releasing video parts. Another one was Blaine Partridge with a VX part. The second of 2 VX parts from this month. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot of VX, but it's 2019. I don't expect there to be much. Mostly killer. There's a couple filler lines here and there. I think Blaine has a good style. He has a good trick selection. He jumps down some pretty big stuff. Jumps over some pretty tall stuff. Skates a wood rail, which is insane. The filming, I got a bone to pick with that filming. It's shaky. Some of the angles are bad. Sometimes he, tweaks the camera so it's crooked. And it's just overall, and it's in bad places too that he's doing the weird crooked filming. Some places I will agree that actually does enhance a spot in certain ways. But I think when you're filming a line, to start it out straight, and then when the trick starts, because the way this was edited, there was a lot of stuff where it showed him, running and then jumping on his board. They would show that the camera was straight, and then once he starts skating and gets, that's when they start. It was just kind of disorienting. The editing, like I said, they show a lot of like the running and jumping onto the board. The stuff that's supposed to happen before the clip actually starts in the video part. They show a lot of it, and they show it when they show it for a really long time. This is a 2-minute edit too, which means it just looks like they didn't have very much footage to work on, so they showed like the entire clips. And there's the line that he's doing where they skip a lot of the pushing, which I understand is like, it's a long line, but I'd rather watch the whole line in its entirety than all the skipping. Music, old school rap. This is one of the few things where I'm going to be saying this is actually a pretty good choice. Big L, solid choice. But it gets some meh rating just because of the editing, and there's just some filler. And the filming is trash, in my opinion. January 22nd, The Gods rained down upon us a video part from Chris Colborn, a.k.a. Cookie, War and Peace. Now, this was a bit of a surprising thing, because War and Peace was the rough cuts for the Peace video that came out in November to us through Element Skateboards. The only thing is I realized as I was watching it, and as the music started, and I realized this is actually a video part and not a rough cut, I realized, oh yeah, that's right. Cookie didn't have a part in the Peace video. And I figured out why once this video was over. Because, no disrespect to Evan Smith, he's a great skater. But this part is slightly better than Evan Smith's part, if I'm being honest. It's longer, at least I think it is. I think it's longer. It feels longer. And it's entirely all killer, no filler. In fact, picking tricks to talk about with this part was tough, because everything is crazy. But I know Element left it out of Peace, because it's slightly better than Evan Smith's part, and they didn't want to give last part to a guy that they refused to turn pro. Because he doesn't have the skater fact. Because look at Tyson Peterson, for example. Very unique fashion sense, very unique looking person. Chris Colborn, very normal looking person. And since he's very normal looking, they don't find him to be very marketable, even though people who skate realize that he is a very, very talented skater. And again, no disrespect to Tyson Peterson either. He's a great skater as well. There's a reason why they turned him pro. They wouldn't just turn him pro because he looks good, or looks unique. No, he's a good skater too. But Cookie's part is so good. He gets a trick on the orange water slide. Some people have been calling it a nose grind. I called it a crook when I wrote it down. I think it's a crook. Tail slide, front shove into a lip slide to fakie. A 17 stair rail grind. A switch varial flip over a fat street gap, which you don't see very often. A switch front feeble shove it out, which is, yeah, insane. And a long handicap rail. There's a Smith grind impossible. I mean, this is just the best stuff out of this. Everything else in this video is slightly below that par. It's all killer, period. The filming, it's an Element video. They always get the most solid filmers, and this video is no exception. Editing, with a video part this long, and for Element making videos as long as they have, they seem to know how to edit these kinds of things. There's nothing overly artsy about it. It's straight up skateboarding clips, slams, high fives with the homies, and some funny pedestrian / interesting moments from the tricks and stuff. That's how it should be, and that's how they did it. The music, though, hot garbage. But I'm a guy who the music doesn't make or break the part a lot of the time. If the skating is 100% all killer, no filler, the music could be gone, which actually I would have preferred for this, to be entirely honest. Or it could be the worst, most trendy, awful, terrible music. And it would be fine, because it's just that good of a video part. There's 2 songs. The first song is like a techno song that sounds like a 90s computer starting to break and short circuit. And the second song is just really boring, generic indie rock. So it doesn't really make or break. The second song doesn't make or break, but the first song's just unlistenable. But Ripper rating. Long video part that is all killer, no filler. It's a very rare thing, and it's honestly the second time I think I've ever seen that. Video part that's that long and has no filler is insane. I think I've only seen that 2 other times, if I'm being entirely honest. So, here we go. January 24th, we got our second video checkout from the Transworld camp, and this guy's name is Alex Labasic. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This video part was good. He's a solid skater that, for the most part, when it comes to street skating, he seems to be able to skate everything. And whereas his tech stuff isn't super duper impressive, his handrail and gap skating is super, super proper. He'll skate back Smith gap out like that, back 3 a big old 9 stair, switch feeble a 10 stair, kickflip back Smith a 10 stair, and then ended the video part off with a gnarly 14 stair back Smith. The filming, there's some unfavorable angles, but nothing's too shaky or horribly filmed. It's just there are a couple bad choices in angles, but otherwise it's good. The editing is nothing artsy, just kind of feels like, video part before all this artsy bullshit came in, which is a good thing. It's a breath of fresh air. Music it's like funky 80s R&B that doesn't totally fit Alex's style, but it's better than a lot of music and skate videos now. So, Ripper. Hope to see more from Alex Labasic. He's very good. And here comes to the part that I'm not going to be reviewing, even though it's one of my favorite skaters. Brian Anderson's Slappy Seconds. It's all recycled footage. So, I'm just not really going to talk about it because it's not a new video part. It's just a new edit of clips from old video parts, which is fine. I like Brian Anderson's skating, but it's just, I want to talk about video parts that are entirely new. Never seen before stuff. So now we have 2 parts left from this month. January 30th, we have Diedrich Galasso. Most of you probably know him as Deeds, with a part entitled Mustache Rides. There's a couple filler tricks in this part, but it's almost entirely killer. It's amazing. He's got a very loose style that, most of the time when skaters have a loose style nowadays, it tends to be very spazzy. Not the case with Deez. He is very solid, but also very loose. And that's a good thing. He's got a lot of Ollie Impossible variations. He does some grabbing. One of my favorite grab tricks that I think was a highlight for a lot of people was the long Wally into board slide yanking in on the the dock is super crazy. The board slide on the kinked rail that he turns into a 50-50 by grabbing is insane. And the long board slide that goes down a couple of drops is just insane. The filming, mostly solid. Maybe a couple bad angles, but it's mostly solid. Editing, it's nothing artsy. They just try to make a solid, fun skate park and skate part. And yeah, I think it's a very well made part, and I think Enjoy always kills it in that regard. The music is synth pop of the twerp variety. If you are a fan of the Canadian band Twerp, good on ya. Kicks ass. So this gets a ripper rating. Deeds is great. Final video part of this month was Frankie Villani's part for Welcome to Dickies. So we've got Frankie on the Dickies team. This video part is all killer, no filler in terms of Frankie. It's got some of Frankie's best tricks. All that it's really missing, my only bone to pick with the skating, is you look at his part in the vastly overrated Primitive video that came out last year. His part was super creative in that. He just needed a little bit more of that creativity from that part, and this would have been pretty much a 10 out of 10 for what I think that Frankie Villani can do as a skateboarder. He skates this bump to bleacher kind of spot, and he destroys it. A lot of fakey tail slide variations, one of them over the Flushing Meadows ledge, which I haven't seen skated in forever. I believe it was unskateable for a while. Don't quote me on that. Fakey ollie to switch front crook Rick flip out. Insane. The filming, no complaints. Nothing shaky, no bad angles. Great. Editing, just skateboarding, which really works for Frankie's style. I think it's better to show off. When you have a skater who's as gnarly as Frankie, you don't need as many filler, like, hey, I'm a cool person kind of clips. He just skates, and it works. The music, now listen, I hate Blink-182 as much as the next guy, but I'd rather have that in a video part than mumble rap or the weird industrial techno music that sounds like a computer breaking. So it's a lot better choice than what could have been. So this gets the ripper rating from me. Anyway, yeah, that is all the video parts. Let me know if there's anything I missed. I don't think I missed anything. I think I got everything that was kind of coming out from like the major publications from January, and I'm sorry that this video is a week late, and people probably don't care about these video parts anymore because that's how the internet works, right? Yeah. But just let me know if I've missed anything. Let me know what you think about these video parts. What was your favorite video part of this month? Mine, obviously, from the way that I explained it, was Cookie's part in War and Peace. Yeah, so thank you for watching. See you next time. Hit that subscribe button for more of these videos and for music-related things. And go ahead and check the link in the description to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Editing Alex here, just letting you know that these videos are also going to be available on my new Daily Motion and DTube pages. I'm giving those video streaming services a bit of a shot, just a quick shot, just to see if possibly something changes, just in the future, see if I can grow my channel faster on those things. Not that I'll totally, disregard YouTube. But just in the case of things like demonetization, videos getting taken down, which happens so much on YouTube, and I've done the research, and these platforms do not do it quite as much. I'm going to be uploading on there, so I'm going to be trying my best to upload every Saturday, and occasionally sometimes during the week as well. It just so happens that, I have a little bit more of a work ethic if I record during the week and then get some editing done during the week, and then on Saturdays I get the video out. It just works better for me that way. But I'm going to be trying to be uploading every Saturday and some points during the week. And if you go on YouTube on Saturdays and you do not see my videos, check Daily Motion or DTube to see if those are up on there. Just, you know, and if they're not there, that means that they got taken down everywhere or I just didn't upload that week. But for the most part, I'm going to be keeping it every Saturday at 3 o'clock Central Time in the U.S. And yeah. Thanks for watching this, and check out the links in the description for my Daily Motion and DTube pages. And I'll see you next time.